Okay, apologies once again, guys. These technical things, they just happen. You can't run away from it. Okay. So I think we're talking about, okay, all right. So it's our onboarding meeting today. And like I said before, onboarding is a very important part of being a software engineer. When you get your first job on your first day of work, you're gonna have an onboarding meeting, and that meeting is gonna be to walk you through all the things that you need to install, and all the things you need access to, and all the things you need to know to be able to set up your computer properly, to be able to work with the rest of the team. So that's what onboarding is all about. Today, we are going to go through some of the main basic things we need to have to get our computer set up properly. Like I said earlier, if you already have a GitHub account, that means you're already good to go. But if you don't have a GitHub account, or maybe you don't even know what GitHub is, don't panic. We're gonna go through all that in a bit, but most importantly, I'm just gonna show you my own GitHub account so that you kind of have an idea what I'm talking about. But so I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Actually, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, yes.
Alrighty. Okay, so
No, I can't see us. Okay, I can see it now.
okay, that's network could make it lag a little bit. But okay, so you can see my browser tab. You can see my like my Chrome browser. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yes, you can
yes.
see that.
All right, cool. So I'm just gonna go to GitHub. I'm just gonna search GitHub on my browser, and I'm gonna go to the website. When you go to GitHub for the first time, you are likely going to not have an account if you're going there for the first time, of course. So you might want to sign up to create an account. It's pretty basic stuff. They just need your email, your password, any cute username you want to have for your code that you're going to write in the future. And okay, country, and all those basic stuff. So once you sign in, once you sign up, you're gonna be able to sign in. And I already signed in before, but I'm not sure why it's asking me to sign in again. But it's good. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a little bit while so that I can put in my credentials, and I'm gonna be right back. Okay. I'm signed in. I'm going to share my screen once again. I'm hoping that you can see my GitHub tab. Let me know once you're able to see my screen, please.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, good. So once you have a GitHub account, this is what it looks like. So a little bit background in case you're hearing GitHub for the first time. GitHub is two words. There is Git and there is Hub, right? So Git is a very important tool for software developers. It's kind of like a toolbox for a carpenter or a mechanic. They will have like a toolbox where they put in all their tools that they use to do their work. That's basically what Git is for software developers. It's where we put in all our software that we have, written and built and things like that. It's basically something that you're going to be using every day if when you become a software engineer. So then we have the hub aspect of it, which is basically telling us that this is a hub for our Git. So Git is basically a tool that we are going to install on our computers, while the GitHub is more like the web version of the tool, whereby we can actually connect our laptop, to some cloud storage kind of thing that allows us to store all those software that we've written, all those code that we've written on our computer. The GitHub allows us to store them in the internet, right? So that, even if you lose your laptop, God forbid, or whatever, you just need to come back and log into github.com and you'll be able to have all your code, all the code that you've written. So this is very, very important for developers because you're going to be writing a lot of code, over several months, working on different projects, working with different companies and all that. Eventually, you're going to have a very rich um, list of softwares that you've written, and code bases that you've written, and you need to keep them safe, right? So, on a layman understanding, that's why this tool is very important. That's why we're starting with it. So, eventually, when you create an account, it's gonna look something like this, and you're gonna have like different projects that you worked on. I'm going to just walk you through what my own looks like. This is a pretty old GitHub account that I had, and you could see that I've had quite some work done here. All these are different projects that I've worked on. This was probably okay, a blog that I did, and a Bitcoin wallet. This was an e-commerce website project that I did some years ago, and things like that. And all of these stuff are part of the journey for you to kind of go into tech. If you're a software engineer, you can't run away from it. So another thing I wanted to show you is you're going to see some projects in my GitHub that are not actually like my project. For instance, this guy right here. This is the GitHub for a company that I used to work with in the past, and for some reason, it looks like they still allow me access to this GitHub project. It's probably some oversight on their end, but at least now you have an idea what it looks like. Usually when you go into a company for the first time, they're going to, as part of the onboarding, they're going to make you part of their GitHub repository. And that's usually because you're going to be writing code that belongs to the company, and they want to make sure that they're going to have access, they're going to continue to, have access to it even when you're no longer with the company. So they're going to add you to their own GitHub repo and all of that kind of stuff and have you set up. And that's how you're going to contribute to the, different applications and different projects that the company has. So that's literally what GitHub does for us. Usually, different companies will organize their GitHub in different ways, but this is a personal GitHub, and you could see that I belong to several different projects and organizations. And recently, I have just created a new organization for the TalentPlus internship. So this is the GitHub project that we all need to be part of so that we can work on projects together, so that even if I write my own code and you write your own code and every other member of the team write their own code, if we are working on the same thing, or we want to have access to each other's work, we are all going to integrate our GitHub to this organization, right? Makes sense. So eventually we're gonna have different projects, different repositories, maybe different example project, different assignments or whatever we're gonna have as we start to write our code. We're gonna have all that other stuff here. So, and that's why this is a very important tool. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Eventually, you're gonna go deeper into how to use this tool and all the other things that it can do. Like, as a DevOps person, there are many other things that we do, with GitHub that some web developers or software engineers might not know about. Like, we have all this we have something called CI/CD pipelines that GitHub allows us to do as well. So GitHub, as a product company, they are always trying to expand their product offerings and what they offer to their clients so they can make money as a company, right? So it's actually gone beyond just some place that you can store your code to different products that they offer companies. So, but as you proceed in your journey in tech, you will get to explore a little bit more about all of that. But at this stage, you need to create your own GitHub account if you don't have that, and you need to become part of this TalentPlus internship project. So how that's gonna work is, when you create your account, or if you already have your account, you need to send me your email so that I can add you. There are I think it's likely going to be requiring just your email, but it might also require your username, whatever. But that's what all you need to do to be able to complete the onboarding to GitHub. Okay. That's a lot of information. If you have any question, you can ask me a question before I move to something else.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the information. Yeah, I want to actually say something about how it can be part of the Talent Plus internship. You said, is it just the email or with the username so that we know what we have to make provide each other?
So just send over your email addresses, and if that's not enough, I'm gonna let you know. So but it's just pretty routine stuff. That's my part to kind of be able to add you here so that you will get an invite on your email. I think that's how it works. And then once you get an invite, you can follow the link to now join properly. And then once you're joined, this project will appear on your own account. Just like you see all this, like this is the Amanti guys. This is a different company that I used to work with. This guys too. This is a different company that I used to work with. And this one is my own project. This one is my own project. So that's how it's gonna look. So, but right now, I think it's just your email. So if you already have an account, just send me your email and I'm gonna add you. If you don't have an account, then you can work on that afterwards. Just make an account on GitHub and then you can send me your email. Okay. All right. Um, okay, we already have some email in the chat as well, which is good. So now I'm gonna talk about something else. Let me share another thing. At this point, I probably should just share my entire screen. Let me know when you can see my screen, please.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, cool. So, like I said, the other thing is Git. Like I said, this is the central place that all our code is going to come from. But on your individual laptops, you're going to need to have the tool that we call Git. You know, and it's actually a very important tool. It's a learning curve on its own. I'm not going to lie for you, but at this stage, you just need to make sure that you have it installed on your laptop. And luckily, most laptops, as far as I'm aware, actually comes with Git, even if it's a very old version of the app, but it's going to be there somehow. Um, you can now update it, but even if your laptop does not have Git yet, you can install it. So that's one of the first things that we also need to make sure that we all have on our laptop for you to be able to participate uh, effectively, right? So usually the the right way for you to find information as a learner in tech is usually for you to just Google. And I'm just saying it so that it's not just about you learning Git. It's about you knowing that if you can just maybe like type Git for instance on Google, that you're going to find the informations that you need. For me, right, let's say that I'm a newbie, and I'm just trying out this for the first time, right? So what I need to do is to type this into my Google, and I'm gonna see the website, and I can go to the website. So Git itself is an open source tool, which means it's a free software that somebody wrote and then give it out for everybody to use free of charge. When you go to the website, it's not going to look very pretty and all of that stuff, but because it's not a company that is trying to make money, just a free tool. So to install it, I could search something like this. And it will probably point me to the right page for my PC. If you have a Mac, you'll be able to see how to download for Mac. If you have a Windows, you'll be able to see how to download it for Windows. If you have a Linux, which I doubt any one of us, is using Linux, but you get all the information. So for me, I'm using a Mac. So if I go here, I'm going to see all the instructions that I need to go through to be able to install Git on my laptop, right? So I'm going to do something like this. I'm just going to pick this command line this command typically, and I need to open a terminal on my laptop, and then I need to okay, and then I need to paste it. So for me, I'm using Mac. So this is usually the way that we install command line tools in the Mac. And if you're feeling confused a little bit about what I'm doing, it's probably because I'm typing commands, right? And this is something that you're going to do a lot as a software engineer. Most of the tools that you're going to be using, they are not very simple tools that you just go to the website and download the app. Usually, you will need to type in a few more commands to be able to install it properly. But don't panic. These commands are not something you ever need to memorize, especially today that we have like AI and everything, that you don't necessarily need to have any of these things, know any of these commands. You just need to make sure that you know what you're trying to do, and then you know how to find the correct command whenever you're trying to do something, right? So the terminal is a part of the computer that average people, they don't usually ever need to use this application, but it's on your laptop. It's just another way of using the computer, different from like our normal graphical interface like this. So I have all of these applications on my computer that I can open, like this notes, and all this other stuff like my photos and all of that stuff. So I have all those applications. This is normal thing. An average person knows, how to open all of these applications and use them. But as a software developer, it changes a little bit. So we use a different way sometimes to interact with the applications that are installed on our laptop, and that's via the terminal. So you're going to be getting used to it, typing out commands and doing things like this. Yeah, so but for the sake of this class, just know that this is just like all you need to do. Once you put in the command, it's just going to run and it's going to install the application. If you don't have it already, it's probably going to take a little bit of time and all of that stuff. So I'm not gonna I'm not going to just sit here and watch it happen. So while that's happening, I'm just going to go to something else, and that's how you install Git. When you install Git on your laptop, you can connect it with your GitHub account for you to be able to save your code and all of that stuff. But that's a little more technical step that we're not going to cover today, because today we're just making sure that you have everything you need properly installed, so that this does not get more complicated than it needs to be. All right. So at the end, this thing is done. I'm gonna have Git installed on my laptop, and I will be done with this. Okay. Okay. Well, before I move to anything else, is there any question? No questions. All right. So at this point, you're already becoming, ready to write code and everything, honestly. So, but there is another very important application that you need to have on your laptop for you to succeed, for you to be a software engineer. And it's called VS Code. If you're already writing code, you probably already have it, but if you don't, that's very okay. If you're hearing about VS Code for the first time today, that's entirely okay. So I'm gonna show you what VS Code is in a little bit. So once again, what I'm just gonna do is go to my browser and type VS Code, and then I'll see the informations that come up, right? So if you're feeling very ambitious, you can go ahead and watch some videos, just to get an idea of what the tool does and all of that kind of stuff. Or if you're over all of that, you can just go to the website that comes up, and here it's going to show you to download for your operating system, right? So for me, I'm using the Mac, so it's asking me to download this for Mac. And if you're on Windows, it's probably going to write Windows here. So that's another software that you need to have on your laptop. Now, this one does not require you to type any command. It's just some application that you just click download, it comes up. And once you have it installed, you can see it appear on your applications, right? So I'm gonna open mine, and you see what it looks like, right? So this is the VS Code. VS Code is like the um it's just like something that we use to be able to create the actual software, right? Is what we need to be able to write our code. It's called text editor, and some people call them IDEs, which is short for integrated development environment, but it's just a fancy word for text editors. But this software, if you're a software engineer who writes code, is something that you're going to be using every day. As you can see, I already have some files that are open here that are for different kinds of applications, and you will see that some of them already looking like programming, like code and things like that. So the example that you're seeing with my own is, this is a bash script, and bash is kind of like a programming language that we use for scripting. You don't need to know anything about it, just know that, with VS Code, you can always create your code, whether you're trying to write a Python code or a JavaScript code or whatever. This is the app we use to write it. Another cool thing about this is that it also has a terminal that comes with it. So even though your laptop is definitely going to have a terminal, something like this, if you have VS Code, you get it as well, all in one place, right? So the command that I wrote before to install Git, I can actually type it here as well. Like now, if I do Git version, to tell me what version of Git that I have installed. So this is the terminal side of the application, and this is the text side where we write our code. We write our code here, and then we run it here. That's the basic stuff. So this is another application that you need to make sure that you have that installed on your laptop as well. And that's really it for VS Code. So before I go into anything else, do we have any questions? And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right, we don't have any question. Very good. But I do like questions. So if you have any questions, don't feel shy, whatever it is, like, I want to hear it. Okay. So the other thing that we all need to have on our laptop, okay, actually, this is not a tool. This is not something that you need to install, but I'm going to talk to you about it anyway, because we're going to be needing it. Okay. All right. So there is another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. We have so I wanted to talk to you about ClickUp a little bit. ClickUp is basically a project management tool that we are going to be needing at some point, because that's how software development teams work, right? So when you join a new team, maybe you just get a job or something like that, they are most likely going to have a project management tool. And this is to make sure that you get a feel of what it how it works in general, right? So for software development teams, we have people that work as project managers. Some of them are usually not technical people, like they don't know anything about programming or programming languages. You're the person that know all of that, but they are still the people who are in charge of the projects, and they know all about project management. They know all about Scrum. They know all about sprint planning, things like that. And if you're a software developer, it helps a lot for you to have some idea of those things. So even though I'm just introducing it to you, I'm hoping that some of you are going to be curious enough to actually go, on your own and make some research and just, learn generally about these things, right? So project management is a very important part of software dev's life, because every day you're going to show up to work, you're going to have one task or the other to do, and they are going to appear on a board like this one. So for instance, this I think this is a project that I used to work on in the past, and I, you could see that they are called tags. So these are probably like these are probably like, things that I need to do, maybe some software that I need to install, maybe some work that have been assigned to me to perform, but it's going to be here, and some project manager is going to assign it to me, and it's going to appear on my own dashboard, and it's just some information. It's just going to have like some information about the tasks that I was given, and I'm going to be able to track my progress. So let's say that I started working on task 2, and I can move the task 2 to in progress. And what happens is that it tells everyone else in the team that I, Augustine, who is part of the team, I'm working on this task. So nobody else is going to pick this task. And once I'm done with this task, I move it to completed. And then everybody knows that this task is done. So you can see, very simple tool, but very powerful, because it helps the team coordinate their work. So at some point, we're going to have some tasks. We're going to have things that you should do, and they're going to appear on this page, and you can look at them and say, okay, let me work on task 1, let me work on task 2, let me work on this task, and then you put them in progress, and we'll know that, okay, you're working on this, and then once you're done, it goes to complete, and we'll know that, okay, this is done. So I'm going to, I think I already created a workspace for the TalentPlus internship. Okay, I don't have a workspace for that, but that's something that I'm going to have. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to need your emails as well, so that I can invite you. I think we already have some people here who put in their email, so I can actually use that as example. So for this one, if I send you an invite, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get a notification on your. You're gonna get a notification on your mail, and you can. This is gonna be talent plus internship. Okay, so now we have a board that we're going to be using to manage our projects. I'm not a project manager, but we're going to make it work. All right. I'm gonna need your email addresses, the rest of the guys as well. I think we have only one person here who I don't have his email yet. So you can send in your email, and I'm going to invite you to the project management tool as well. So I think that's it. Once you get the invite, it's gonna walk you through making an account and all of that stuff, and you're gonna be part of the team here. I think that's it's really that simple. Okay. Do we have any question about any of that?
Um, I wanted to ask, how is the Click app different from Asana or Trello?
Okay, there is no difference. It's just, different tools that you can use to solve it. Just like we're using Microsoft Teams today to make this meeting, and we could have used Zoom or whatever. But obviously I'm using these Teams because I have like an enterprise account here and I can record the meetings. So it's easier for us to use Teams than Zoom. So that's just the difference. They're just different tools. There are several project management tools, even apart from the ones you've mentioned. In my own experience, companies who are using like Microsoft Azure, they will likely use Azure DevOps as their project management tool. Because Azure DevOps has something they call Azure DevOps board, that works as well. And we also have like some inbuilt project management tools that companies create, and they use it internally for their own stuff. But either way, you know, they are all they're all solving the same problem, right? Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's that for that one. And that's probably all of it. The last thing that we need to know, we need to have installed on our laptop. So now I don't want this to become a too technical section. So I'm just going to use this opportunity to just, uh, give us some challenge that we can do on our own. There are different things that there are different more softwares that you actually need on your laptop. They are not super necessary for this particular internship, but you need to have them. So maybe eventually you're going to need them, maybe not. But one of them is Python. You're going to need Python installed on your laptop. And you're going to need other things like Docker. You're going to need other things like um, Node.js. You're going to need some other command line tools. So I'm going to make a list of those things, and I'm going to just, drop it in the WhatsApp group, and so that you guys can get, some practical things that you can actually like do on your own. So while you do all these other things that I've already mentioned, you can just go the next extra mile to install the rest of the things that I'm going to drop in the chat. So it's just going to be like Python, VS Code, sorry, Python, Node.js, maybe some other command line tools that are necessary. Um, so starting with Python, because that one is very important, especially because our next session, we are going to be getting into Python. I'm going to show you how to install it as an example, but I think I probably already have Python installed on my laptop, but that's okay. Once again, you notice that basically I'm just typing these things in the browser. So it comes up, and if I go to Python website, I can get information about it. It has a whole documentation that gives you the history and everything. You don't need all that. But if you're feeling very ambitious, and you have time in your hands and you're very curious, go ahead and read the documentations. Otherwise, just download the Python. You can download the latest version for your operating system, or you can download the older versions as well. But I think the latest version is very okay. If it's already on the website here, that means it's already stable version, and we can all already use it. So I'm just going to click on the download, and you can see it just downloads normally, and then I can install it on my laptop, right? So that's basically how to download Python. It's very, 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 very super easy. Once you download it, you can install it. Now, Python is usually one of those um one of those tools that actually comes with a lot of laptops. The only thing is it might not be the most recent version, but Python will very likely be already installed on your laptop, maybe a very old version. So what you're actually going to be doing is, like just to like update it, right? So now I'm trying to find out the version of Python that I have, and I don't even know the correct command. So I'm just going to Google it, and there it is. So if I type this on my terminal, it's going to tell me the Python version that I have, and it doesn't, which means that I don't have Python installed on my laptop. That's simply what it means. So I'm going to finish downloading it, and then I'm going to install it. And then after I've installed it, if I run this command again, it will tell me the version of Python that I have, just like this guy is telling me the version of JIT that I have. So there are a couple other tools that I'm going to add for you guys to install as well. Just to give you some some challenge, something to do, some fun challenge to do, right? So I'm gonna put those in the chat, but they are pretty straightforward. Okay. Once you have Python installed and maybe if a few other things, that's pretty much it. You're ready to write your code. Okay, looks like somebody is raising his hand. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Yeah, the ClickUp invitation has come.
Oh,
I've
okay.
accepted it.
Oh, okay, cool. That's good to hear. All right, guys. So this is already long enough, I think. At this point, you are already set up, to go. And the next time we are actually going to be writing some code, you will have all the tools you need to participate, right? So that's the whole goal of the onboarding. So I'm just gonna end it here so that this video doesn't, this meeting doesn't go too long. Let's just stop here today. We can continue another time. So, does anybody have any other question? All right. So the next time we're gonna be going, we're gonna be doing. At least today is a little bit practical. So I hope it gives you some things to do on your own and some goals to kind of achieve before our next meeting. So, but in our next meeting, we're going to be going a little bit more theoretical again. We're going to talk about some hardware components of the computer so that you have an understanding of how your code interacts with the computer to make it work and do stuff. So that before we actually get into writing code, you kind of have an idea of how it works, right? We will probably get into some coding on the basic level on our next meeting as well. All right, guys, thank you very much for your time and have a, a great rest of your day. All right. Okay, bye.